Summertime is heating up at Global Voice Broadcasting. Hot music, hot talk, and hot topics. All day, every day, 24/7. You don't want to miss a minute on Global Voice Broadcasting.
I highly recommend Ms. Hicks. Her books, her CDs are encouraging.
I bought her book, A Hill to Climb. She's a very inspirational speaker.
And I look forward to one day being able to work with her.
Your power lies within you. Let it loose.
Aspiration, inspiration, motivation, edification, determination. These are the keys of life success brought to you by none other than award-winning author, motivational lecturer, business consultant, and much more as she gets you aimed to your purpose. And now, ladies and gentlemen, young and elder, from Hollywood to the entire world, here is your host of Aim to Purpose, the radio show, Louise Hicks, along with her co-host, yours truly, Kennon Wesley Mason.
Hello, world. How is everybody today? Hope you're doing great, and I know you love that sound you just heard.
Yes.
And I am Louise Hicks, your host of Aim to Purpose, the radio show.
And I am Kennon Mason, your co-host, and I want to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone listening and watching Aim to Purpose, the radio show, as we bring you another edition, as I clear my throat. And we have a special guest today in studio once again as we go into the healing power of music. And as you heard, that beautiful voice coming from our special guest, Sophia Mojo.
And Miss Sophia Mojo is in the house. We're going to talk about the healing power of music and that beautiful song, You Crashed Into Me.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here bouncing as she's singing the song, and I love that part. I feel alive. You shocked me to life.
Right.
That's what you did to me. Energized me. And I'm so energized. And if you want to hear all that song, you got to buy the album. We're going to tell you more about the EP.
That's right.
And how you can get it a little bit further into the show. But as Ken just said, the healing power of music, that's what we're going to talk about today, and how music can help heal illnesses. And let me just read a little something to you here that we shared with our audiences. And it says, did you know music therapy has a number of healing benefits, such as dealing with chronic pain, anxiety, reducing stress levels, and improving concentration. And Miss Sophia Mojo is going to share some of that with us, because music really does have a lot of healing benefits. And
Yes,
there
it
are
does.
people that go to therapists, and sometimes we take music for granted, and we don't realize when we are bouncing around and we hear all this great music that it really does have healing powers.
Oh, yeah.
And some of those healing powers are, as I just mentioned earlier about Did You Know? And when you think about that song Happy, it can make you happy. It can help heal different illnesses and conditions, as we said. And that Happy song by Pharrell, you know, it can boost your spirit up. Everybody starts listening to music and your spirit gets boosted and you start moving. And it really doesn't matter what age you are. You know,
Oh,
you
yeah.
see babies, how they bounce to music. So
Music is universal.
it's universal, and it doesn't matter what age you are.
That's right.
How it has that healing effect for you. And that old school music, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, because you know I'm quick to always say I'm 64 and I can bounce to some music, and that old school music, I can really bounce to that.
Yeah,
because
it's timeless.
I love it. It's timeless. And when you think about music and we talk about the healing power, I know a lot of the young'uns, as we say, they might not know about this, but
they'll know by the end of the show.
But they will know about it by the end of the show, how we used to come home from school and we'd rush home so we could watch American Bandstand.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you all know about Dick Clark, even though he's passed away. His legacy will live on forever, because we used to rush home from school so we could sit down and start bouncing to everybody on American Bandstand. And some of you may have never heard of Ed Sullivan.
Oh, you're going way back now.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go way back. Because we used to watch the Ed Sullivan Show, and you know, that's where we saw a lot of black people too. Mm-hmm. Because before then, we really hadn't seen many black people on television.
Yeah.
And Ed Sullivan came along, and here were the Supremes and so many other black artists, and that was how we really got introduced to a lot of black artists, seeing them on television.
And
singing.
you can go back even further than that to Alan Freed back in the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
Alan Freed brought Little Richard and
That's right. Chuck
Berry and Frankie Lyman.
That's right.
And a lot of the singers of that era. So music goes back.
See, I taught him well,
eons.
didn't I?
I have a music background.
Yeah,
and so,
he does.
You know, I love music history, and just people's stories that go along with their musical careers. I can go on and on about people's stories. Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, they all have stories to tell with their music, which is the reason why it's timeless today.
Yeah, it is really timeless. And we have a variety of ways of expressing ourselves too with music. And it's an ongoing, endless thing. And then we came up in the 80s and 90s and
the Soul Train era.
Right. And I love the Soul Train era too, because I used to listen to a lot of Don Cornelius, and he shared a lot of artists on his show as well. Mm-hmm. And just give me the old school stuff.
That's right. And as always, if you want to chime in from anywhere around the world, 1-323-522-5482. Once again, from anywhere around the world, 1-323-522-5482, as we are discussing the healing power of music.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about the healing power, but first with our special guest in the house, Miss Sophia Mojo. But we're going to go to a commercial break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to introduce you to Miss Superstar Powerhouse.
She is here and in person, so don't you go nowhere.
This edition of Aim to Purpose, the radio show, is brought to you by L. Hicks Consulting Services. When you want the best in business coaching, life coaching, or perhaps your organization, business, or company is in need of a dynamic speaker for an upcoming workshop or seminar, contact Louise Hicks for L. Hicks Consulting Services at 1-562-310-1495. From anywhere around the world, that's 1-562-310-1495. For more information about Louise Hicks and her consulting services, visit her website at www.louisehicks.biz. Again, that's www.louisehicks.biz. Or call 1-562-310-1495. L. Hicks Consulting Services, where professionalism is top priority.
Hello, world, again. We are back. Once again, I'm Louise Hicks, your host of Aim to Purpose, a radio show, along with my son and co-host, Kennon Mason. And we're going to go ahead and introduce our guests as we are talking about the healing power of music. And we have in the house with us, as I mentioned, this powerful singer that you heard at the top of the hour. This beautiful song, Crashed Into You, Crashed Into Me. Got it.
There you go.
And anyhow, go ahead and we're going to introduce Miss Sophia.
Yes, Sophia Mojo is a rising star, powerhouse R&B, pop, EDM soul singer, songwriter, and producer from Los Angeles, California. Born into a musically multi-talented family, Sophia Mojo found her own voice at age 6 when she began songwriting and later developed her distinguished, smoky, soulful vocal tone. Sophia honed her songwriting and vocal arrangement ability while singing in female vocal groups. She began producing her own music in 2013, which began the journey of musical creativity leading to her solo music career. After being diagnosed with endometriosis causing serious pain and illness in early 2014, Sophia Mojo has been motivated to relentlessly pursue her dreams, promoting a message of love, redemption, and empowerment. Grounded in faith and driven to make her mark in the music industry, Mojo currently performs originals and covers of today's newest hits and old school classics with a show-stopping band on various stages in Southern California. Mojo's debut EP is scheduled to be released August 15th, 2015, and is sure to excite and inspire. So with that being said, let's give a warm Aim to Purpose welcome to our special in-studio guest, Sophia Mojo.
Hello, Miss Sophia. Welcome. And thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in to the studio to share with us your beautiful voice. And it says in your bio here you are a rising star powerhouse. I beg to differ with that. You have already risen, Miss Sophia.
Thank you, Louise. You're wonderful. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, because you came from a multi-talented, music-oriented family. So, I mean, when you're around people like that and you're in that environment, I mean, I can't sing, but I love music.
Right.
So how did you come about it? And you said at 6 years old, you probably started before then. You probably just don't remember it being around all of these talented musicians.
Exactly. Yes, my parents are singers, songwriter, producers, and so I can just remember at an early age, my father calling me in front of his keyboard, hey, sing this note, and so I just became musical in that way, and we all did. I have 2 sisters and a brother, and so that was everything we knew, was music and songwriting and performing, my mother and my father doing that as we were growing up. So, like I said, that was just all we knew, and that's what I have grown into even now.
Oh, I believe it, because you are a writer as well. Now, did you write that song, Crashed Into Me?
Yes, I wrote that.
Girl, you got talent.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And that's one of my favorites off the EP as well, by the way.
Oh, yes. That's a beautiful song.
You.
And those lyrics, they really come naturally to you. I can tell you're very gifted, you're very talented.
Thank you.
Superstar, you've already risen. You got your new EP coming out, and you were just 6 years old. And how old were you when you were in a group? Because it said you were in this female group and you were singing. Were you a lead singer? And how old were you when you joined the group? Were you a teenager or a youngster or what?
Right, about 15, and that was with my sister and a best friend. We had a group called Harmony, and that was one of our focuses. So in high school, we would go to various churches and schools, and we would sing. I would write the songs, and we would sing them, arrange the harmonies and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really fun. We actually, after a long period of time, joined back together as adult women and began singing as Harmony 321. So I also had a group that I sang with in college, VIP, and that was really nice. I was the lead singer of that group as well. And with Harmony, more not so much as a lead singer, but just more of like the leader, coordinator. I'd bring us all together, and we just do what we love to do, music.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Music is definitely it for me. Just having that music background, when you're in the studio, time is of no essence.
Right.
Right. I mean, I would be in the studio and just it would be nighttime, and then all of a sudden the sun would be up. Because you get so engulfed in the music, you get wrapped in it, and you just become a part of what you're creating.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm with you on the process.
And nothing else matters at that moment.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. What inspired you to write songs, and you're a producer as well?
Right. Yes.
What got you into that? Or what, because some artists are just singers.
True.
But you decided to take it to that next level and do your own creations.
Exactly. And I think there is a difference between a singer and an artist. And I think an artist has a story that they want to tell. And so I can write a song that tells my story, but when I'm in front of my instruments and my computer, and I'm able to, materialize what I hear in my head musically and put that to my own lyrics, it's all of me.
That's right.
It's all of me coming out to the world and to the listener. And so I wasn't doing it at first. It was just writing, and I was working with various producers, really good collaborations from that. But the production happened when I just said, let me experiment and explore that side of me to see what comes out of me organically.
Yeah. And it feels good when it happens.
It does. It does.
I mean, when you're musically inclined to whatever degree, it will come out and it will develop over time.
Yes.
I mean, you just kind of get better and better and better until you get your niche, or what's called the signature sound.
Right. Right.
Do you, being that you have an EP coming out, how will you kind of stand out amongst other artists that may have their niche? How will your niche or your signature sound,
Right.
how does it stand out amongst the rest?
Right. I think you hit it right on the nail when you said signature sound. And I feel like what distinguishes my sound is, I grew up on soul.
Yeah.
And so that's what you hear when you hear my voice.
Right.
So you'll hear a warm, soulful sound. But the
Yes.
music that I'm singing over, it's R&B, it's pop. I have some electronic dance music on there, and so it's a little bit of a fusion happening.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
where you hear that familiar soulful sound, but then you hear the freshness of, the current music that, you're hearing on the radio now.
Right. Putting your own stamp of approval on
That's
it.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And your own God-gifted creativity.
Yes.
Because I hear it in that song Crashed Into Me, and I can't wait to hear the other songs you have on the EP. Now, it said something here interesting, and sometimes, all the time, I get educated on every show I have because I love getting knowledge and understanding. You got what is it? EDM.
EDM.
What does that mean? Probably something I should know, huh?
It just stands for electronic dance music.
Oh, see?
See?
Something as simple as that.
There goes the education for this session.
See?
Right.
EDM.
See, I learned something.
So that's like house music,
Yeah.
progressive house, techno,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
okay, because we want everybody to know what this EDM.
Right.
So if I want to get up and do the EDM, I'm doing the electronic dance music.
Right.
All right now. Educate me.
Yeah. And actually, a lot of your dance music from the 90s are being kind of reused
Recreated,
and
yes.
recreated and packaged
Yes.
for a lot of hip-hop artists and a lot of current singers of
Right,
today.
right.
So it just goes to show you that music never gets old.
That's right. You said it.
you
It's
know,
universal.
Yeah,
It
it's
is universal,
Yeah.
and it never will get old. And you said something else, being a writer. I'm not a singer, but I love to write, and everyone that has heard the show know that I'm an author as well as a professional public speaker. And you said you hear it in your head. Now, I do know about that because when I'm writing, I get these visions in my head, and I do understand that part of it. You hear things,
Right.
and when you hear it, do you have to write it down then, or do you go sing it then to keep it so you won't forget it? Is that how you do it?
Oh my goodness, Louise. I hear probably about 5-6 different songs in my head by the day.
That's
I mean,
right.
daily.
Yeah.
Little melodies here and there, concepts, and really, I write from an emotional place, a feeling, that comes from somewhere deep. And so as I'm just experiencing things and observing things, I'll hear, melodies, and I have my phone. It has the little recorder on that. I have countless just clips, 15 seconds, 25 seconds, 2 minutes of just melodies and words that I might come across my mind, and I'll put down. And then when I have to put it down in my actual home studio, then it's like, oh, it feels so good. It's a release,
It is.
and that's
it is.
that's what it is.
And like you said, it's organic, because it's coming directly from you. And you become a part of, again, your creation.
Right.
You're writing your story
Right.
to your music.
Right.
So people, and it will resonate. And that's how you have certain artists that have their core audience, because what you're singing resonates.
Right.
Right,
they can relate.
the voice resonates, the music resonates, and it does affect people in different ways.
Right.
There is a healing power to music.
It really is. And it's your DNA.
Right.
And when I say DNA, I don't mean that bloodline. I mean that's your divine natural ability.
That's right.
Because it comes out of you, and I can feel it in your music. And the same thing happens when writers do that too. Like you said, you can just stay up all night, you and Ken, because when musicians start feeling those melodies and everything, you can stay up all night. The same with writers. I know when I'm writing, sometimes I lose track of time.
That's right. That's
because
right.
as those juices flow within my head, I just go.
Yeah,
Get it out. Got to get it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that's right.
Oh yeah.
And you do a variety. You do R&B, you do pop, and old school. How far old school do you go back?
Because you only look like you're about 15 or 16. Now, what do you know about that old school music?
Good genes. I'll say that's good genes. I'm a little bit older than that, but you know, some of my old school influences are, you know, Anita Baker.
I love her.
Yes, I love her. Shaka Khan is one of my favorites. And you mentioned earlier Stevie Wonder. You know, Marvin Gaye. You know, so those are some of my biggest musical influences.
Yeah, I definitely love hearing "Got to Give It Up," all 12 minutes of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, not the little 4 minutes that they play on the radio, because most artists don't do that anymore.
Right.
They don't really take it to that next level of the old James Brown Part 1, Part 2, right. Isley Brothers Part 1, Part 2, you know, and they just give it to you. More Bounce It Out, 6 minutes, Prince, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and they just give it to you. Now, because we live in a singles-driven industry, things have changed dramatically when it comes to the climate of music. What's your opinion about how music or the music industry has evolved into what we have now, more image-driven and more, again, more singles-driven, not necessarily the full, whole LP album where you can listen to the first song all the way to the last, whether it's 10 songs or 15. What's your feeling about how the shift has gone, and do you think that it will come back to that particular era?
Right. Well, I think that, you know, we deal with people who have a short attention span. I think now, as far as just throughout the industry, we're trying to grab the person and catch them, whatever's going to catch them in that moment. And if we can draw them in, you know, then we can share more. And so if you can buy a single, let's get you on the single, and then, you know, you'll want to buy the EP or the album or whatever. So the biggest thing will be that single to first grab, you know, the listener.
Right.
But, you know, music is, you know, it comes from an emotional place, and so when people can connect to music, it's because they're connecting emotionally, and they're connecting based on the feel of the song. And so I think that what as an artist, and you know, it's my responsibility, if you will, to just put out good, positive music that makes people feel good, that people can relate to. And once you do that, and as an industry, once we do that, you know, then people, I feel, will become more supportive. You know, that's what we need. We need people who support, you know, independent artists.
Yes,
you know,
do.
definitely that, and will support enough to buy an EP. You know, buy an album. Listen to what the wholeness of what's coming from the artist.
Right.
You know, sure. You know, a single may draw you in, but it's really after that the support that we're looking for. In the industry now, even today.
And that makes sense, because what you just said is going to kind of segue into what we're gonna go to a commercial break, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk more about the healing power of the music, because you do have to connect with people, and it does come from an emotional standpoint on how people connect with you as an artist will make them want to go out. And since our show, we talk about all kinds of topics and people from all walks of life, because we want to empower people, and music is empowering. And we want to get a positive message out, and that's what you're doing, because when you share with us, when we come back from the break, about what this music has done for you, I mean, it's impactful, very impactful.
Thank you.
So we're going to take a commercial break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk more about the healing power of the music with Sophia, the powerhouse Mojo, and share with you how music really influenced and helped her with her healing.
That's right.
From endometriosis. Did I say it right?
Endometriosis. One of those long medical words.
Right.
But we're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back with our special guest, Sophia Mojo. Don't you go nowhere.
Hello, world. Hey, it's the 1-year anniversary of Aim to Purpose, the radio show. So first, we thank the staff at Global Voice Broadcasting for the platform and the opportunity. Go to gvbstudios.com/show/A2P. Next, we thank our wonderful guests that have graced the airwaves of Aim to Purpose over the past year, like Dr. Caldwell B. Esselstyn from the documentary Forks Over Knives, Nazir Alim Bey with his soon-to-be-released documentary entitled Melanin, the God Particle, from the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, Dr. Jeffrey A. Shaler, and Professor Baron K. Brown, who's become a regular on the show. Internationally, we've had guests such as Bridget Nkuna and Sarah Jane Farrell from South Africa, award-winning author F.T. Camargo from Brazil, Brenda Pierce, the Empower Nurse from Canada, double Olympic medalist from the British cycling team Brian Steele, and many other great guests that have openly shared their knowledge, humor, wit, and wisdom with the A2P universe. And most important, we thank you, the listening and viewing audience, for tuning in each and every Monday. Information is power, and the more our audience grows, the more open minds that'll receive the information, which makes all of us powerful. So we encourage all of you to spread the word about Aim to Purpose, the radio show. Lastly, if you know someone with a product, business, or foundation that's interested in advertising as a sponsor for the show, contact A2P host Louise Hicks at louisehicks.biz or Shamika Brown at divinebrownmedia.com. Be a part of the A2P movement, as there is always power in numbers of like minds that multiply. And follow us on social media at Aim to Purpose, #A2P. Once again, thank you all from Aim to Purpose, the radio show.
Hello, world, again. Excuse me, we are back. And today, as I mentioned earlier, we are speaking with superstar and the powerhouse songwriter, producer, singer, Miss Sophia Mojo.
All that, yes.
And she is all of that. If you heard the song Crashed Into Me at the top of the hour, you know she is all of that. And
Thank you.
And we were just going to talk about how the healing power of music has helped her with a medical, and I think I mispronounced that word, endometriosis.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's what she was diagnosed with in 2014. So tell us about endometriosis. Such a long word. You can get tongue-tied on that word. And how did you come about being diagnosed with it, and what is it?
Right. Okay. Yes. So, late 2013, actually, I started to feel pain in my lower abdomen, pelvic region. And it was, sporadic, randomly, just sort of like a burning, aching, dull, sensation, throbbing in that area. And so I didn't know what it was. And so I'd feel it, maybe 15 minutes or so, maybe twice out of the day, and then it would go. But then it started to be more frequent and more severe, to the point where I couldn't even move. And I'd be in tears, not knowing what's going on with me. So I had an ultrasound. They said, well, we really don't see anything there. And then I had a CAT scan. They said, there's nothing that could, we didn't see anything that could be causing this pain for you. So I had a laparoscopy, and that's when, they go in with a camera and they search around in the area to see what's out of place or if there's anything wrong. And they found endometriosis on the outside of my bladder and on my uterus, on the outside of my uterus. And so what it is it's a uterine disorder where the endometrial tissue that usually lines the uterus, and for the woman throughout her cycle, it'll thicken, and once she is, on her cycle, then she has the release. That tissue, that same tissue, there's excess of it, and it finds its way outside of the uterus and on other organs. It can actually attach itself to, even the brain, other organs in your body.
Right.
And it causes a lot of pain because what it's doing is it's responding just the way it would normally do in the uterus, but outside of the uterus. And it responds to estrogen.
Right.
So when I found that out, I said, wow, okay. And really, that's when my faith had to kick in, because I've always had good health, never really have any issues or anything like that. And so, I immediately, God, what's going on with me? They tell me, the doctors say, and research will find, that there's really no cure for this. And the cure really for it medically is a hysterectomy, for them to just take out the uterus. And I'm too young for that. I'm sorry.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, because you have one child, right? And you might want to have more children and so
right.
forth. And, young women usually are diagnosed with it, right? Even as young as 11, from what I read, can be diagnosed with it. And it's very painful.
It's very painful. I mean, you can't move sometimes when the pain kicks in, and it's random. I can be just as fine as I am right now, and 10 minutes later I start to feel the pain, and now I'm hunched over and I can't move, and it just ruins my whole countenance,
Yeah.
And so for me, that was really hard. I started a treatment for it, which basically put me into menopause. So as young as I am, I know about that menopause.
Oh boy.
Oh, girl, you know about menopause.
Boy.
I know about that menopause, the hot
I do
flashes
too.
and everything. I know all about that. It's a 6-month treatment, and throughout that, really, it was a time for me to really hold on to my faith in Jesus Christ, and really music. That's what I started to gravitate towards, to really take my mind off of the pain. I mean, I'd have moments where the pain was just so bad, and with the barely the voice that I had, and with the little strength that I even had to sing, I'd begin humming, singing a praise song, or just a song that would come to my head, and that's what really would get me through those moments, to even calm me, to where I could fall asleep even, So very hard, but I'm getting through.
Oh yeah, and that is true, so true. And that's how, when you started your music and you talk about the healing power of it, it really does have some, scientifically they have discovered, and this has been going on for some time, in which I knew early on as a little girl, because I used to harmonize when I used to hear all these songs, and I felt happy.
Right.
And when you're happy, you do feel healthier, and you feel better.
Right.
And I want to share with some of with our listening audiences some of these benefits of music therapy. And I won't say all of them, because it's numerous benefits, and we'll just do some. Reduce the stress levels, and I'm sure you can identify with that. It can lower blood pressure. Right. It can protect the heart, and we had a Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn on our show. He's in the documentary Forks Over Knives, and he has also written a book about heart disease. He's a former heart surgeon. And you can even meditate on music, and that helps you to feel better.
Yeah.
And it has something to do with even stimulating your brain waves to help you be more concentrated and to cope better with situations. And it can increase your positiveness.
Right.
Because some people are so negative, and they dwell on some negative things, and you listen to some music, it can make you think of positive things.
That's right.
And you can also, it builds your immune system. And with you saying about the pain and all of this, listening to the music and playing music, it can help reduce muscle tension. It can, even women, when you go and you're having your baby, music can be soothing.
That's right.
And that is so true. It can help with labor. Right. It can help with chronic pain, like what you're saying. When you get that pain and it's so bad, it hurts you so bad. And also a lot of people, particularly people who may live alone and so forth, it can help with loneliness. And I know with my mother, who has dementia, what my sister does, she's her caregiver, she will put music on, gospel music most of the time, and put that on, and it's soothing for my mother because I'll talk to her sometimes and she loves listening to the music. It's very soothing to her, being bedridden and has at 92 multiple illnesses.
Oh, yeah.
And this music really does help with that. It can help take away boredom. It can increase your spirituality. And I know you said that is a lot of it what it did to you.
That's
and
right.
it can do that.
Yeah.
And also emotional release, like you talked a lot about that.
That's right.
And it's just a list here that goes on
Goes
and
on and on
about addiction, how people use music to overcome addiction. But you have to be careful with the type of music that you listen to. Is that correct? When you want to share something about that?
Definitely. You have to make sure that it's going to lift your spirit. And the hard part about that is, you know, when you are feeling sick or when you're feeling down, depressed, or, you know, angry or whatever, it's very easy to want to gravitate towards angry music,
Of course.
or depressed music.
Yeah.
And so there's really and there's a connection in that, and there can be a healing in that as well. But when you can find yourself gravitating towards positive music that will uplift you, you know, that's when you find the healing, and even as an outlet, you know, as well. Just that expression of, you know, the anger or the hurt or whatever can be the healing, and that's what it was for me.
Yeah. There is a power in music. Having my background in massage therapy, I know that in session there is background music, and being that it's a more softer tone of music, it helps to literally relax the entire physiology, where people will fall asleep. Some people will really get into a really laxed kind of a mode, and so there is a definite resonance with music, especially under headphones, which is the most powerful. In studio, when you have headphones blasting while you're on the microphone,
Right.
it does something to you. It makes you want to get into your vocals more. No matter what it is, it has a resonance, and it is healing. There's many different types of music. I use some music for reading sometimes.
Right.
You know, some classical music and things of that nature. So there is a power in a therapeutic power in music that can be very healing to the individual that it resonates to. No matter what kind of music it is, as long as it makes you feel good in the grand scheme of things, hey, have at it.
Oh,
you know?
Positive, as long as it makes you feel good. And I know that is so true about massaging and listening to music, because I've had many massages, and they always put music on, and I have fallen asleep.
I have too.
Right.
With
Because
snoring and everything.
That's right.
I know it'll make you just go out.
Yeah.
And it's so, because it's soothing,
Yep.
and that's the
Yep.
healing
Yep.
part
Yep.
of it. The soothing part, it just
Right.
makes
Right.
you so relaxed until you can just lay there. And then I would ask my therapist, "Is it over? Wake me up."
Right. That's right.
Because you get so relaxed.
That's
It
right.
has such an empowering healing effect. And how, when you get so relaxed and you're not feeling good, how does this music really help you to relax,
Right.
Sophia?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, after I was diagnosed with the endometriosis, and I began the 6-month treatment, which was, you know, it gave me a little bit of a relief, but I still had the periodic pain, and it was very hard for me. I then, after the treatment, you know, there was another about 6 months of just, you know, this pain here and there. I went back to the doctor. Hey, what's going on? I'm still having this pain. Why? You know? And then they told me, they tested me, and they said, well, you know, you're pregnant. And that was a shock for me because actually endometriosis can cause infertility.
Right.
And so when they told me I was pregnant, which is one of the reasons why I wasn't just so willing to give up my uterus, I'd like to have another child,
That's right.
I was very happy. About 8 weeks later, though, I lost the child and I had a miscarriage. And
Sorry to hear that.
thank you.
Very sorry to hear that.
Thank you. That was very hard. But what I found is that music actually motivated me, and in each time frame. So I had been doing music, since I was a child and singing and writing, but it was more focused on songwriting and just as a release, as just a side thing, if you will. But when I first got the endometriosis, then that was when I reconnected with the Harmony 321. We started singing and performing, and I was just so motivated and energized. When you have an illness and when something really traumatic happens to you, it really starts to make you evaluate and reconsider life and how you're living it. And when your quality of life is sort of at risk, it really makes you pursue life in a different way. And so the endometriosis first catapulted the group and me singing and performing, and then after that sort of died down a little bit, then I had the miscarriage, and that catapulted me as Sophia Mojo, a solo artist. And so I can't express how much really I'm thankful, and this may sound really, really horrible, but I'm thankful for my condition. And the reason is because I feel that God is using just the circumstances and the things that seem so horrible just to bring out the best good in my life. And right now, what I began doing after I lost the baby is really pursuing the career. I had on my SoundCloud, I have a couple covers. I Can't Make You Love Me by Bonnie Raitt, and Chandelier by Sia. And that was actually right after the surgery. When they told me, the doctor told me, well, under the anesthesia, it may damage your vocal cords. And I can't express to you how scared I was, but as I was recovering, I'm recording covers and I'm singing and I'm writing and I'm healing all at the same time. And so music, first of all, it motivated me to really take life and my musical abilities, my talents very seriously. Realize that I do have a story, and if it's gonna affect someone else, if it's gonna encourage someone else, then it's not about me at that point.
That's right.
And so I'm pursuing this really relentlessly, and will go as far as God allows me to go. But music really just motivated me to every time something bad happened, it's like that catapulted me to just take it to the next level.
That's right.
And I'm not looking back.
And
well, you can't look back, I mean,
that's the way to go.
With every adversity, if you will, there's always the success story at the end.
That's right.
No matter how bad things may look on the surface, there's always the greater good at the end. Even in a miscarriage situation, everything happens for a specific divine reason.
I believe it.
And we have to accept it, because we can't rewind. So all you can do is go forward. And figure how to make it better for yourself, for your family, for the child that you do have now, being thankful for the child that you do have.
Yes, your little 4-year-old.
That's right.
So
and looking forward to, make more children in the future, which is the reason why the whole hysterectomy, that should be a total last resort.
It is. It is.
Total last resort.
Yes. And you expressed that so eloquently, and it didn't sound horrible to me, because I can truly identify with what you just explained, not from my perspective, but coming from a different perspective as a mother, because when I was in my 40s, my second child, my son David, who I've talked about on this show often over the little over a year now, who was diagnosed with a rare bone cancer at the age of 14. And it was devastating to me and the family because I had never dealt with anything like that. But I can say good came out of it, even though we're still struggling because he is alive. He's 34 now. And we struggle with it, which caused me to start a Go Mental campaign because this led to mental illness. He's physically and mentally disabled now. And good came out of it because I probably wouldn't be sitting here today had this not happened to my son at the age of 14. And also it inspired me to write the book, A Hill to Climb, A Teenager's Battle with Cancer, Depression, and Drug Addiction, which has inspired so many people globally.
That's wonderful.
To have the courage like you had to move their life forward and to find their purpose in life. And that's what I tell everybody this show is about. When we talk about aim to purpose, the aimed is really about aspiration, inspiration, motivation, edification, and determination.
That's right.
And the purpose is about pursuing urgently realistic potential opportunities successfully envisioned. And that's what you did. You took those opportunities in which were adversity and you turned them into you took the adversity and turned them into opportunities.
That's right.
Yep.
And that's what we should do and move forward with our lives, even though things don't always go the way we think they should.
Right.
God knows already how they are supposed to go.
That's right.
And that's all divine intervention.
That's right.
That's what I called it. And I'm grateful for the adversity in my life because it helped me also to be a better person and to find my purpose in life and give me the elements I always use, which are vision, hope, faith, and knowledge. And it moved me to action. And it did that to you. It moved you to action because you said it motivated you
That's
to
right.
move forward. And that's a great thing.
It helps you to just refocus, you know, which path you want to go to or which path you want to take your journey.
Right.
Whether you want to go through this door, whether you want to go through that door, or whether you want to go through this door.
Right.
Every choice that you make will have an outcome.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
And to have the courage to share your story. And you said you were inspired to go public and share your story. And how will your story help to move other women forward and families too? Because we're all in this together. Because what impacts you impacts your husband, your child. It impacts your family, extended family, everybody.
Right.
So give some encouraging words to other women who may be suffering from endometriosis. I think I got it now. Long word.
Yes. You know, really it's just to take the situation and turn it around. You know, don't let it control you. Do not let it consume you to the point where, you know, you stay down. You know, what I found is actually those times where, you know, I may be down and I can't move around as much, whatever. But then on the flip side, those times that I'm not in pain, I'm the most productive now. And I do what I do as much as I can when I'm up. Because, you know, I don't know when I'm going to be down. And for any woman who has endometriosis, they understand what that's like. And so, you know, you can be a victim and you can lay there in your sickness and try to point blame or whatever, or you can do something about it and you can turn it around and make it positive. You know, you're not alone. I will say to them, you're not alone. You know, 1 in 10 women have it. So, you know, link up with a support group. There's a lot of endometriosis foundations that you can connect with to where, you know, you just turn it into something positive. Let it motivate you. Let it inspire you to you know, to connect. You know, there's people that have all kinds of, you know, other sicknesses as well. And there's so many victories and that come out of those things. And so be that victory, you know, be that inspiration.
That's right.
That's what I would have. That's what I would say to them.
And be that champion. And now we want you to, you know, we heard the crashed into me at the start, but why don't you just give us a little live, a couple of notes of your favorite song on the LP, and we're gonna show it because she was so kind to bring us in a copy here.
That's right.
And we will show it.
Quickly, tell us about the EP here.
Yes, Love Me Not. And you have the rose with just the one fallen petal. That's the Love Me Not part, right?
There you go.
Can you see it?
We're all holding it up.
We're all holding it up.
Yes. I'm so excited about that project. You know, it's about 1.5 years in the making. You know, this really was sort of coming out of the whole endometriosis and what I was feeling, but really what impacted it was just my own experiences, some things I observed in relationships that I was going through, and also from friends and relatives, what they were going through. And so it's called Love Me, Love Me Not. It's centered around love. I support love. I'm a firm believer of just love and positive things.
Absolutely.
And the power of love. And so you get, the Crashed Into Me and some of those songs about the highest heights of love. But then you also get some of the turning the downsides of where a relationship has gone bad and where it's unhealthy. And the reason why, one of the songs on the project is called Ain't Supposed to Be Hell. And really that sort of captures the whole theme of the project. And I'm a woman's woman, in the way that I love women and I support, just empowering women. And I know
me too.
Yes. And that's why I love being on the show with you. And I'm so glad we met. Right. But, I realize in relationships, a lot of times women, they suffer in not realizing when the situation is not bad, you don't have to stay in that. You can move on. You deserve better. And this is what love is and this is what love is not. And you need to know the difference so you can identify when it's not right, it's time to go.
Yeah. That's right.
And so it ain't supposed to be hell, and that just kind of lets you know, if you're in a situation, if you're in a hell situation, that's not what love is.
Yeah.
And so Crashed Into Me is one of my favorite. I have a few other favorites on there, but that's the overall message of this particular project, is really just to empower women in relationships and know that you're worth more.
You are.
Yes.
And we're not trying to leave the men out now, because we love our men. This is just right now a kind of a woman's thing.
Right. But it empowers women to love right and to open. And so there's a lot of good men out there.
Yes, it is.
Who find a good woman that they want to love, but because a woman may have a damaged heart, it's hard for her to open up.
Absolutely.
But see, if you know what love is, then you can open your heart to that good man and love again. And that's what I hope that this project inspires. I want to connect with the heartbroken.
And you have connected.
And I've experienced
and somebody sang that song, I Want to Know What Love Is. Who was that saying that? I love that song.
I think it's by Foreigner.
Yeah, I love that song. I want to know what love is. I can't sing now, but anyhow, belt out, we have a
couple of minutes. Actually, go into how we can get to the CD or how people can purchase it, and then you can just belt out the quick couple of notes.
Yes. Well, it drops officially on August 15th. And so it will be available on online stores, iTunes, Google, Amazon. You can actually keep up with me on my website, www.sophiamojo.com.
Okay.
That keeps up with my, upcoming performances. There's links to my YouTube. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Sophia Mojo.
She's everywhere.
That's right. And just a little bit from one of my favorite songs called That Feeling on the project, talking about love.
That's track number 6.
Track number 6. How did we get here, baby? And now where do we go from here? How do we get back that feeling we had? Love, love, love. I remember when we made each other happy, but now all you do is make me cry. How do we get back that feeling we had? Love, love, love.
Beautiful.
And we want to tell you something real quickly. Her husband came with her, and he's just sitting here smiling to everything that she has said. I'm telling you, he's proud of her, and she's proud of him, and I mean, they make a lovely couple, and we are just excited. What did say that again?
I love him.
You heard that?
I love him.
Yeah, that's right. And I can tell she love him, and I can tell he loves her, because he's been smiling doing this entire interview at his beautiful wife. And that little lovely girl, what's her name?
Simone.
Simone.
My daughter, 4
Oh,
years
how
old.
beautiful.
Simone Brianna.
And
Right.
we want to dedicate this show to your hubby and your little girl.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
We want to thank you
Simone.
for being our special guest
Thank you.
on our show. Thank you for coming in studio
Thank you.
and gracing us with the beautiful voice. And we would like to have you back in the future
Yes.
for future projects.
I'd love that.
By
Thank
all
you for having me.
means,
Oh,
by
yeah.
all means. And with that being said, we will close out with my favorite saying, your power lies within you. Let it loose. Until next week.